Good morning, food lovers, and welcome once again to In the Kitchen with Marco. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a lentil lasagna. It's so delicious that you won't even realize it's made with lentils. You'll think it's all meat. Mamma mia, it's a delight. The video is divided into 3 parts. In the first part, I'm going to show you how to make lentil bolognese. In the second part, homemade pasta. And in the third part, I'm going to show you how to make bechamel sauce at home, without a single lump. Perfect. So if you tap the screen, you'll see all the chapters appear below and you can go straight to the part you're interested in. If you don't want to make the pasta at home, you can easily skip ahead. It's fantastic, isn't it? So, as always, you'll find the ingredients in the description box. Let's get started right away. Remember that at this initial stage, the dough always seems a little bit dry and quite firm, but please don't worry too much because it just genuinely needs a bit more time to fully and completely hydrate. So, for at least a good couple of minutes, try diligently kneading it and thoroughly absorbing all the loose flour that's currently on the table surface. If in the end you see that you're still kneading but the flour is still left on the table and all these super dry crumbs form, then you can add just a little bit of water, 1 tablespoon, 2 at most, otherwise it will get super sticky and be harder to work with. Once your dough is completely smooth with no color differences, meaning no lighter or darker parts, and all the flour has been absorbed, you're ready to store it. We're going to wrap it in some plastic wrap and let it rest for about half an hour. If it's summer and very hot, you can put it in the refrigerator. If not, I just keep it aside. Once the half hour has passed, we're going to remove the plastic wrap. Take about 1/3 of the dough and leave the rest rolled up. Then we move on to rolling it out. You can use a rolling pin, or if you don't have one, a pasta machine will work too. Look how beautiful and perfect it is. Once the pieces of pasta are ready, set them aside for a little while. If you have a rack to let it air out, you can use that. If not, I just do it like this. I sprinkle a little flour on top and bottom, and that's it. Now let's move on to preparing the bechamel sauce. Melt 30 grams of butter over low heat. We don't want to burn it. Once it's melted, add the flour. Let the flour cook together with the butter until it all turns an almond color. An almond, of course, doesn't have to burn. And at this point, we add the milk. But we're not going to add it directly like that. First, we heat it up. And voila! Elena Pagrumi. Very good. When you reach this texture, add a little white pepper or nutmeg, depending on what you like more of, and half a teaspoon of salt. Ah, how wonderful. Look, with this technique you won't get lumps, and if it happens that you do get some lumps, don't worry, you can simply strain it. All the little lumps will stay in the strainer. Problem solved. We turn off the heat and set it aside, taking it off the stove because otherwise it keeps thickening and we don't want it to get too dense. Now let's move on to assembling our lasagna. So we take a baking dish and put a bit of our bolognese sauce on the bottom. This will keep our lasagna from sticking. You don't need to put a lot, just a little bit. From there, we move on to taking our first piece of pasta. If there are any excess pieces of dough, we can simply remove them. This will be very useful later on. And if they don't work for us, we'll make a delicious maltagliati. Now that we have the base, we move on to adding the filling. We add a bit of our sauce, some creamy bechamel and a sprinkle of grated parmesan. And then we move on to the second layer. If last time we placed it horizontally, this time we'll place it vertically. And here, as you can see, the pieces we cut earlier will come in handy. We continue with another layer of our bolognese. The parmesan. And we continue with the pasta sheets. Now using my hands, I can feel where there's a bit more filling, and I gently press the pasta so that it moves toward the spots where there's less filling. From there, we move on to the last layer of filling. Perfect. For this recipe, 500 grams of lentils are enough. As you can see, I have a bit more left over because I actually made a kilo. Why did I make more? More? Simply because I really like it and I freeze it and eat it throughout the week. So, since you're already cooking legumes, as I always say, it's better to make a little more because they're so healthy and the only downside is that they take a while to cook. That's why I cook a bit more for myself. A little more bechamel. Parmesan on top. Last layer of pasta. Perfect. I make sure that everything is well distributed. And in this last layer, I don't add any more. Bolognese sauce. I only add the bechamel we have left along with the cheese. This way it browns and the top turns a beautiful golden brown color, which is super tasty. Final sprinkle of cheese. Here we can go overboard. And wonderful! Look what we have here, the whole golden beauty. And just like this, we're going to put it in the preheated oven at 180 degrees for about 45 minutes. Right at the end of that time, we'll turn up the heat a bit to about 220 and let it brown. And finally, guys, here we have our wonderful lasagna. Now we wait about 15 minutes or so for it to cool down a bit, and then we'll cut it. Let's see. Look at that, what a marvel. Look at that, what a marvel. Photo is done, now let's try it. Fantastic. See how it turned out so compact. Look, it's just too beautiful. It's fantastic. Mamma mia, it's like eating a traditional lasagna. Mama, it's so delicious. Guys, this is a super healthy recipe. You can make it at home as an alternative to regular lasagna. If, for example, one day you don't want to eat meat, it's perfect for the holidays when you eat a ton of meat and in the end, we all end up feeling a bit heavy. This, on the other hand, is a super light solution. If you want a flavor that's even closer to traditional lasagna, you can make a mixed bolognese sauce. That is, prepare a separate meat bolognese and mix it with the lentil bolognese we've made today. And this way you'll be eating 50% less meat. In the end, it's not just about eating meat, it's also a matter of saving money. You're eating healthy, and you're paying much less than if you ate all that meat. So, once again, eating well does you good. For your health and your wallet. And well guys, I love you all very much. I hope to see you here next weekend with another wonderful recipe. By the way, next weekend we're going to make a fantastic pizza.